Alright, we should be ready for you. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Alright. Hi, I'm Crash. This is game about annoying lizard who never shuts up, aka Gex. Alright. In 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Gex 2, or Gex Enter the Gecko. I'm playing the PS1 version. This is also on N64, as well as PC. PC version is kind of irrelevant. I'll explain version differences the more the run goes on. The first level here, out of tune. Every level in this game is based off some sort of TV or movie genre parody. In this case, obviously, it's meant to be like an old Looney Tunes cartoon. See all the tropes, like the shape of someone running into a wall. There are objects there that fall on you. You didn't see any of them, though. Or Wabbit season, and now you're in a bunny costume. The costumes don't really affect the game for the most part. So I'm gonna go out of my way to get a life here, and you're gonna see that pretty frequently throughout the run, because death abuses are so prominent throughout, especially through a trick called TV canceling, which is kind of this series thing, and the first one's coming up very quickly, actually. And it's also one of the bigger time saves. Most of the TV cancels in this run only really say like a couple loading screens having to go back to the media dimension. There are a few different ways to pull off TV cancels though. The first one, I'm going to go for something called a slide TV cancel, where after I let go of the D-pad, when running, Gex will do kind of a slide animation. You can either jump or crouch out of the slide, and you can do that on the buttons of TVs. Which I failed. Oh well. That one saves about 30 seconds. It's not the end of the world, I guess. Can't get them all in a marathon run. I'm gonna do something I neglected to do earlier, because I always forget. I'm gonna select remote 3. For whatever reason, if you select remote 1 or 2, you can't skip the cutscene immediately, but you can if you select remote 3. Only for this level, though. So we're going to be going through most of this area again.
Just let me know when I have time to get a donation off.
You can read one now.
Alright, awesome. So, DK Koba donated $30 towards naming the town for Animal Crossing. However, the town name has a 5-character limit, and the name that you put in was longer than 5 characters. So if you want to shoot me a message in chat or on Discord or wherever, we can figure out a new name that you want to put for that.
Alright, this first hunter, which I have to kill 2 of them for this remote, you have to actually watch that hunter die, or else the kill just won't register. But this hunter is a lot more lenient, both in terms of that, but also, I swear you cannot hit that first hunter immediately after the iframes are done, but that second hunter you can. So that remote, you saw the remote appeared, but the button didn't press down even though I did leave, but it still recognizes I got that remote, as you can tell there. It also skips the save screen, and I also forgot to select remote 3 as always. So, one more remote in this level to click 1, whack 5 purple mushrooms. Fastest way of moving in this game is just tail kicking. Nothing too fancy.
To see the world as Keith Richards does.
That's a good quote. So this game's also on N64. Actually, before I explain version differences, a little glitch coming up here. If I just tail kick on that rainbow bridge before the cutscene plays, I get that little warp. But the N64 version has virtually no load times, but it's also plagued by even worse lag. It's horrible. There's also some cut content, and also an exclusive level that this version doesn't have. Each version has like a main exclusive level. This one has Poltergeist, which is another Screen TV level. Speaking of which, first Screen TV level coming up, whereas the N64 version as this really boring Titanic-themed level. It's just not fun to navigate through because it's a long underwater level. So there's nothing too major to this level, except getting my momentum cut, apparently. It's kind of just a bunch of long corridors that you have to navigate for each remote. Riding floating furniture, though, which is a common trope in these Screen TV levels. We're gonna get this fly. It's a fire power-up. There are also ice power-ups as well, and they both let you run faster and jump higher. I won't be swallowing this fly just yet, though. I'll be waiting, because the room coming up after this has water, and this game actually does have physics. If you touch the ground with the fire power-up active, you'll lose the power-up. So here's the water I mentioned. Now I'll swallow it. And now allow me to do a skip coming up right now. Gonna get another extra life. You're also gonna see me get another extra life through collectibles. You can get through that room without touching the water at all, but it's very tough. That was
I know
awkward.
what you're thinking. It's tail time.
That's exactly what I was thinking. By the way, quote RNG is actually a thing in this game. It's not a huge impactor, but it is a thing that can lose you like a couple seconds max. Basically, just Gex will say certain things will be longer than other certain things. So, for example, he could just say, hoo-ha, and that's really short. But he could say something like, I know what you're thinking, it's tail time, and that takes a long time. So, just waste your time being annoying and not shutting up. In this version of this game, you cannot turn his voice off at the same time. If you do that, it'll still pause when going through a TV to say something. Okay, I decided to push that bookcase in just a bit when trying to head back out, so... Now, in the next game, which I'll be doing after this, I would normally turn voices off, but they have such a generous audience that they donated to leave the voices on. So I activated this elevator, and you're gonna see me walk into it just to walk right back out. When you enter that elevator, this area is already loaded, and entering that room, instead of just forcing you to the back of the room, which is like what it's intended to do, it instead just forces you forward where your camera is. So you just enter with that camera angle, so you walk right back out and skip that cutscene. So one more remote. There's nothing too fancy for this one. You've seen everything in this level, except for me failing like that. Hopefully, that will not be a sign of things to come. I believe there is a way to skip this cutscene, just no one knows how to recreate it because it's so precise. Oh, the camera's gonna lag behind here. Cool. The camera will do that sometimes, and the only way you can really fix it without leaving the area, also nice ledge grab which led to that, but the only way you can really fix it is by pausing, switching your camera angle, unpausing, pausing again, switching back your camera mode, and then unpausing once and for all. Okay, that's Smell Razor. So up next is going to be the first boss of the game, Gillig Exile. Very quick.
Gecko stew, anyone?
It's the best quote you can get there. So, they have the same pattern every time, so you just position yourself in a way to manipulate the fireballs so that the blue ones line up with the Tiki Brothers. Like that. And it's tail time. Bet you didn't know that. So that's the first hub. Up next is gonna be where you'll hopefully see TV canceling for the first time. Gonna be the first one cycle of the game in Frankensteinfeld, which is another Screen TV level. Also a very short level. There's also some skips to this level other than just the TV cancels. And we're also gonna get another look at the Firefly and bad camera angles. Take two. Okay. That's what I wanted. So anyway, here's the Firefly. It's going to allow us to do some skips, namely this one. And then go here. Do that. That's a TV cancel. That's a tail whip TV cancel. Where you can tail whip when landing onto a button. And you can even chain the tail whips, but every tail whip after that first one is frame perfect. You have to tail whip every 9 frames, because that's how long the animation lasts. Alright, another skip coming up. With that. And then just one more little skip coming up here. Want to get an extra life. Alright, got both TV cancels. One more remote to get. You won't be seeing me get the fly for this one. It's not worth it to get. That was close. I got the ledge jump, but everything after that was just no.
Look at that 211 in progress, baby.
Alright.
Let's get it on.
No thank you, Gex. Alright, already we got the next boss coming up. Now, because of the way levels are distributed in the N64 version regarding that Titanic level I mentioned earlier, this boss is actually completely optional on the N64 version. You never have to fight him. But that's not the case on PS1. You'll have to fight him here, but it's a quick boss anyway. You just kind of cheese. Normally you're expected to go around the entire arena, but you just do that. And repeat it several times. Try not to electrocute myself in the process. And that's Mushu pork.
Well, that's what I call getting some taste.
Also, I should explain this music going on. Basically, this game plays very well on certain models of PS2, and certain ones, like the one I have, can cause this glitched music to play in the media dimension, specifically 75, 77, and 79K PS2s can cause this. So, this level, they designed this very long section that you're expected to go through for both remotes, but you can just do that. Now, because of the way the physics are on N64, due to all that extra lag, that skip is actually completely free on N64. Like, you can make it with just a normal jump. Whereas it's actually pretty precise on this version. Alright, and then another little skip coming up. Hopefully I won't bonk again like that. Tail bounce on the door to get up there. And almost done with this remote. Just a TV cancel left. Ta. So you saw me go right past the other remote this level. There's only 2 remotes in this level, first level like that.
Do I have time to read a quick donation?
Yes.
Awesome. We have $5 from White Paws, who was running earlier in the day, and he says, "Just given my 5 cents for the cause," even though it was $5. Thanks for doing this marathon. And he put that toward the Freedom Planet Guitar Hero controller run. We are getting closer and closer to that incentive. We're only $54 away. So if you want to make sure that happens, then get your donations in.
Thanks, Foz. So, another level with only 2 remotes. This level features this air mechanic, which you actually do use to your advantage to TV canceling. Hopefully I didn't screw up the cycle with that. I didn't, okay. So, most cycles in this game don't exist unless they're on camera, so you look at this cycle like way earlier than you actually get there to set it up so you don't have to wait an eternity at the end of it. So, rocket skip. This skip looks very scary at first, but it's actually a lot more lenient than you would think at first glance. You're expected to ride that rocket you saw in the background, which takes a while, but you can just do that tail kick. The way the camera works in this game is it works in this, like, I guess you could call it a 45-degree rule, where when you tap the button like that, just, like, position itself in a set of 45-degree angles. As opposed to Gex 3, which doesn't do that, and a lot of people really hate the camera in this game for it, but it actually does really help in a run. It's actually very useful, the way the camera works in this game. Allows for very quick camera movement as well, which is nice. Okay, that was very close. I didn't get damageless. If you go through the little lasers in just the right way, you can avoid taking a hit. What? Oh my god, what was that? What was that? I swear I did not press that direction.
Marathon luck.
I've never been down here, I swear. Oh god. Momentum. This is sad. Okay. Screwed up the camera manipulation at the start, so I have to wait on the cycles a bit there.
Body blow! Body blow!
Camera. Okay. Hopefully, no more huge mistakes in this run. Damageless, nice.
and smoking.
Some hopefully quick movement to get up here. Okay, maybe not. Getting up there fast is quite difficult, though, to be fair. I thought I could be cool. Whatever.
Daddy wants air. Daddy wants air.
That was a little closer to being fast. Like I mentioned, that's a really tough section to do quickly. Okay, good cycle here. No damageless though. I'm not gonna risk that, actually. I've already made a lot of dumb decisions in this level, so let's cut it out.
It's tail time.
Okay. The last level in this hub is also another quick one with 2 remotes.
It's tail time.
It's a prehistoric themed level, and it goes up, and as is tradition in Gex games, any level that goes up is not well designed whatsoever. And you can just easily break it because of the not too well thought out design. Either that, or all of these shortcuts are intentional. Which we won't be seeing on this remote, though, because we barely have to traverse the island. Technically, it would be slower to grab this fly for this TV cancel, but it makes it way easier. Alright, now we're gonna actually go to the top of the island. Take... If I die, I game over, which... It's not run over, but it's still a pretty big time loss. Alright. Alright, now we can actually see some of those skips I mentioned. Like that. And that's actually going to be the only real skip you'll see. Well, actually, there's that, which is kind of like a tiny little skip. I haven't really been getting collectibles like I should. Oh well. And then one more little skip at the very end.
It's tail time.
Alright, that's it for Hub 3. There's no boss here, you just need a certain remote amount to unlock the next hub. But before that, another level in Hub 2, we're going to take care of www.com.com. Don't go to that website, I don't know what there is on it anymore, but just to be safe.
Can confirm www.com.com is a weird search engine.
So there's this neat little out of bounds you can do for this remote. You can just climb behind that little bridge there for whatever reason, and just hold upright as soon as you jump off of it. And now here's a quick little one cycle. Just bounce up this room quickly. It's not too hard once you get the hang of it.
It's tail time.
And then one more amount. It's a bit longer. There's no cool out of bounds you can do for it.
I know what you're thinking. It's tail.
But we gotta. There's not a whole lot of variance when it comes to routing for this category. You only have access to 35 remotes, and you need 33 of them to beat Res. There's one remote in one level where that level only has that remote and it takes forever, so obviously you would never go there. And that leaves basically one remote left that you don't get.
Easy.
I need to get an extra life before the next level. Can I get an extra life in this level? That is going to be a hard maybe. I normally wouldn't get an extra life here, but because I've had so many excessive deaths, I think I should. Especially if I want to show TV cancels later on, I can get an extra life here easily. Alright. And then quick little skip at the end of this remote. I missed it. Got it. Just tail bounce on that robot to skip the intended way of getting that remote. So up next is another prehistory channel level. It's a very quick one with 3 remotes. Features one of the tougher one cycles in the run. And that's also why I really wanted the life in the previous level to show off the one cycle here. Yeah, that can happen. That's always the best mistake to make.
Cut! Stunt Gecko!
So yeah, I kinda need another life if I wanna show off any TV cancel here.
One day soon
All
there'll
right.
be a smoke belching factory here.
So, what are the biggest differences in running this game as opposed to Gex 3?
So, Gex 3's TV cancels are a lot bigger. Also, I can't do a TV cancel here, also game over. The one cycles are a lot more intricate, the levels are more broken, so that's a really bad mistake. Honestly, I'm just gonna Death Boost and take the game over, because if I want to do the skips in this level, I have to keep that ice power up, so whatever. I'll get more lives for TV cancels later on, it's not too big a deal. Game over in Gex 3 actually means run over because you go back to the title screen, so I wouldn't be able to do that if this were Gex 3. But like I mentioned, the levels have more intricate routes with the TV cancels, which means the one cycles have more at cost and save more time. And if you fail them, obviously you're losing a lot more time. As opposed to this game where it's just, oh, you don't go back to the media dimension and save like 15 to 20 seconds, while in Gex 3 a lot of the time the one cycles will save several minutes. Also, that 45-degree rule I mentioned earlier with the camera does not exist in Gex 3. Those are the main differences between this and Gex 3 at least.
So, would you say that this or Gex 3 is a harder run?
Well, I'm more used to running Gex 3. I'm more consistent in that game as opposed to this game. This has an easier barrier to entry, I'd say. And there's obviously, like I mentioned, less at risk. There are some I find some of the stuff in this category harder. And there's also an RNG-based final boss. There is one thing you can do to get around the RNG factor of res in this game, but it is still there, and still annoying. And that's this old cave. Yeah, Gex games in general are quite hard. So up next is Honey, I Shrunk the Gecko, the longest level in the run. It's made especially long by the fact that you have to go down this path at the start of the level for all 3 remotes. And it takes a good while. There is a TV cancel in this level, but it's tasks only. That was not the smartest thing to do. So, you'll see a trick in this level right there called a super tail bounce. When it comes to those boosted tail bounces from things like those charge pads in this level, for example, if you tail bounce on a ledge as you jump up to it, you get that super tail bounce. It only really gets used in this level, though. There are other places in the games that you can do them, but like I mentioned, they're only really used in this level. There's one that you would do in this room that's exclusive to the N64 version, as far as we know. Which wouldn't be used on this remote I'm about to do, but a different remote. A bit of a difference between this level and the previous CircuitCentralLevel.com and these rooms. In the previous level, the camera locks behind you, but it doesn't in this level for whatever reason. And then right at the end of this remote, just gotta bounce up these charge pads. Very trivial. Just to get to the top here.
It's tail time.
And find out that it is tail time. So, mentioned how you have to go through the same section all 3 times, so there's not a whole lot of variance for the outer 2
Now that's what I
remotes.
call getting some tail.
Until we get to that one central room where everything branches off. There's like one cool thing about the early part of this level though, is this cycle I have to get from this charge and carry it over to the super tail bounce, which isn't that hard though. You just need to not make any mistakes really, and there's like a decent amount of lenience to it.
With you going through that same section again, does that give me time to read some stuff off?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, a while back, let me find it real quick. DK Koba donated $30 towards naming a town in Animal Crossing, and we had a little bit of technical difficulties. However, his donation and his town name are now live to be donated on. So, his town name is at $30, named Yeet. And DLP44 is in second place with $22. So if you like either of those names and you want to see them in the run, or you decide, you know what, I want to see something else, feel free to submit your own entry. Also our social media incentive for... why can I not think of the game's name?
This is for all the angels in heaven.
Ukulele, blah. There we go. Yeah, our social media incentive for ukulele is up right now. We're looking for 25 retweets for that on Twitter. And if we can get that, we will have some really cute shorts to show off in the run. So let's try and make that happen.
So like I mentioned, there is a TV cancel you could do with that remote, but it is tasks only. It would save a fair amount of time now. Like about a minute and a half roughly. Because there's a little robot in that room that you have to walk up to with the charge to activate, but it is there, and you would def abuse with it. But like I mentioned, TAS only. Alright, got super tail bounce all 3 times. Oops. Alright, so there's a quote-unquote major skip for this remote. Quote-unquote major because it saves like, I don't know, 3 to 4 seconds or so. But we're basically just going to take the same path as the last remote. Only to make a slight deviation here. And just barely make the cycle. Which could be catastrophic if you didn't land on there. Would lose a lot of time. Is this gonna work out? No. That can be really tough to make, so I won't go for it. I'll just go to each one. This room is hard sometimes.
File this under ouch.
Alright. And that's Honey, I Shrunk the Gecko. Up next is Poltergeist, which is the PS1 exclusive level. And despite there being 3 remotes, we will only be getting 2 of them, because the 8 Blood Coolers remote takes a while.
It sounds like the N64 version would be a much shorter run.
It is for 100%. For any percent, no one's really ran N64 version seriously in a while. So it's hard to say, but it might not actually be faster for any percent. Just because the N64 version has so much lag, and with all the TV cancels, the lack of load times becomes more and more irrelevant. Also, the Titanic level just takes forever, whereas this level is very quick. But for 100% it is faster, just because there are less things to do in general. I forget you can't make that jump without the Firefly or Icefly.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Also, shout out to all these interesting level names.
Yeah. There's a bonus level and you don't see in this category named Thursday the 12th. And also plenty of other charming names like I Got the Reruns. There's Haha TV. So the other remote takes about just as long. We'll also be seeing this Icefly. And this remote also features some skips, actually. The first one is pretty minor. I'm just gonna save a few seconds by tail bouncing on that blood cooler, but the next skip is very easy. You just tail bounce on the store and you save about 40 or so seconds. Something like that. You hear that, guys? Kill your TV, man. Alright, that's Poltergeist. So up next is one of the more memorable bosses of the series, Mecha Res.
My ultimate creation.
You know, it's meant to be like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, that kind of thing. And there's a way to speed up the fight, even if it is kind of annoying, so I messed it up, but if you manage to get the building to collapse right as Rez lands on it, but while his rockets are still active, you can hit him an additional time. So hopefully I'll get it here. Yep, like that. So ideally you just repeat throughout the entire fight ad nauseum. Oops. Alright, I'm gonna start damage abusing for these next hits. Because otherwise, I won't be able to hit Rez immediately. As you can see, I kinda messed up. Alright. That's Mecha Rez.
Forget about it.
Alright, so now I'm gonna do the last level of Hub 2 that I never got to, the first Kung Fu feeder level called Mao Se Tung.
It's tail time.
And there's some pretty big skips in this first remote right at the beginning. So just jump on that fish sign, and then you can jump on that sign, and you skip some pretty major sections of this remote.
I'll beat this level, but in an hour I'll be hungry for another.
Alright, there's one more skip for this remote I'll hope to get, but it is quite tough. Oh, I got it, nice. You have 4 frames to jump off that rope right at the end, right as Gex automatically just lets go of the rope. And ideally, what you would actually do is tail kick off of the awning to go to an entirely different section to get the other remote of the level. But that tail kick is very tough. Anyway, I'm doing quite a poor job of this dragon. Didn't die, at least. Ah.
It's tail time.
Sadly, this remote doesn't have any cool big skips to it.
Let's get it on.
No thank you, Gex. There's a lot of cutscenes in this remote, as you'll notice. Especially with those diamond things that transport you from room to room.
It's tail time.
So like this ninja gauntlet, I guess, here, which I did a pretty poor job of. It was pretty slow, but oh well.
Now that's what I call getting some tail.
So what would you say is your favorite stage in this game?
I like fine-tuning just because of how, like, broken that level is, how you just skip such a huge section. Because that level, the intended way, does take forever. I also like Poltergeist a lot. It's a very fast level.
You could say that that first level wasn't very fine-tuned. It's really late, I had to, I'm sorry.
Happens to the best of us. So here's a great variant of the glitched music playing right now. It'll be over soon, I promise.
I know what you're thinking. It's tail time.
Okay, up next is one of the hardest levels in the run. The last two levels are very difficult, actually. So it's another Kung Fu Feeder level. Yep, already failing the first skip.
Man, this place smells like ducks.
Okay. Come on. The best part is I have to do to skip for all three remotes, so if I'm failing it in the first go this much, that's not a good sign. This is sad. Okay. There we go. Okay, fine. I'll do a different remote this time. Fine. Okay. This is not going too smoothly. Like I mentioned, this is a hard level. So, like, ideally you just want to carry this power up as late as possible, especially for these platforms, because you can just tail kick across them very quickly like that. Okay, I almost thought I was gonna die there, because I'm not used to having the fly run out so quickly. Like, not so quickly, but that early. Alright, slide TV cancel coming up. But this one's actually very difficult because the button's raised up so much. And I didn't get it.
I know what you're thinking. It's tail time.
So we got two more remotes coming up, and I gotta do that skip as well for the other two as well. So it's not that bad, this skip. It's just sometimes I'm an idiot. I'm not even gonna risk that.
Yes, I'm here to pick up my laundry.
I've never heard that quote before. Alright. Alright, can I manipulate the ninja? I didn't manipulate the ninja properly, but that's one thing you can do with the fire and ice flies. You can create a little circle around enemies to kill them instantly. But that ninja that throws a star that you saw there, you can manipulate him into throwing a star right into the crack of the door. And it just glitches the door open. Alright. That's what I want the beginning to look like there.
year of the Gecko. Licking like
That
living
was
duck.
really sketchy. Which means I honestly should have just done the manipulation anyway, but I got scared. So I decided to just give up on it entirely. So that's why the Ice Fly is important with this remote, because you can skip having to ride that platform. And tail bounce on top of that instead of riding it the intended way. And that's the end of Samurai Night Fever. So one more level, and it's a pretty tough one.
Let's get it on.
It's another rocket channel level, pain in the asteroids. I don't want to look on lives again. So that skip isn't hard, but depth perception can cause you to not get a tail kick when you need it, and will kill you. Or you can just like time the tail kick wrong, or send him in the wrong direction. And I have to do it again for the next remote as well. So the first remote I'm going to do is to destroy these 5 power cells. Very specific with when I want to get air for this remote, by the way. Because I don't want to wait too long for the TV cancel at the end. So yeah, again, more manipulating cycles with the camera. Oh, I didn't get that. Got a momentum drop. So yeah, I'm not gonna risk it. Not gonna... I will do the TV cancel, because I'll get an extra life here.
It's tail time.
So now I can do both TV cancels in this level. So I'll have to wait here for a bit. But it will still be faster than if I were to not do it.
Captain, they are a bizarre alien race that find Adam Sandler funny.
Just a tiny bit faster, I guess. Plus, marathon, so why not show off all the TV cancels I can? Okay.
What's that, Mr. Bug? Jimmy's trapped down a well?
So, this remote I suck at. I love to choke it, as it seems. Alright, so we're gonna ride this warp tube, as the game calls it. Kind of a long cutscene, and you actually skip this remote in the N64 version, but you get it here, because there's not really any other options that are actually fast. The only other 2 remotes that you can choose from are really slow. Ooh, okay, at least I didn't die. Remember how I said I like to choke this remote? Okay, so there's this like trigger around there that fixes your camera angle to a completely unusable camera angle for that section. It's horrible.
Hey, you! I'm a walking touch-up.
So you can jump over it or tail bounce over it, and it's a godsend. Alright. Last TV cancel. I don't have to do that skip the beginning for this remote. It's not worth it. This remote's very quick. And the last remote we'll be doing until before we go to the final boss res.
I gotta make.
Do a slope jump here. And that's it. Alright, so I mentioned this earlier, how Res has an RNG factor. It's for the very final hit that's where it really matters. But it's not too impactful because of a certain strat you can do, but hopefully I won't have to spend longer than necessary on this boss. So the main villain of these games, I haven't actually really talked anything about the plot, but the main villain is a cyborg named Rez who tries to take over the media dimension. You have to stop him, yada yada yada. So you have to ride this platform up and wait for our demise, I guess. I'm gonna get this fly just for safety. Alright, so the first phase we can speed up by just manipulating Res into flying straight to the center. And then there's a specific TV you can stand on. Not only does it serve as a good lag reduction strat, but Res just cannot hit you when you're up there for whatever reason. Easy peasy. Here's the second phase. So these buttons are going to come up and you have to make Res slam down onto them. You have 3 chances for the first hit, 2 chances for the second hit, but only 1 chance for the final hit. Also, this laser sucks. There's no real way to dodge it, I swear. You don't want to tail kick in this phase, or else there's a good chance you'll just tail kick right into Res. Alright, so time's gonna be when he slams down on the final button, which could be very soon, it could be theoretically forever. So get ready on time. And I'll go for that strat I mentioned. Just do that. And get ready. And time.
Great run. Just underestimate.
Hard game.
Certainly seemed like it.
Are you after that old sandwich in my pocket?
Alright, so this is the ending. They just pull a Star Wars reference for no real reason other than Star Wars reference, haha.
I didn't always look like this. I fell into a scrap heap while trying to get free cable.
And your point is?
And Gax just doesn't care.
No! No! Don't do it! I'll do anything. I know Tarantino's Gardner's fiancé. I could probably get you a meeting.
Okay then, Dad. How's about we forget all this and go play
It's like
catch
you're
in the
being
rain?
reunited with your own father and you just literally shut him off. Like, dang. And this is the ending, by the way. It's very flattering, very ahead of its time. Sonic has nothing on this.
Gex is too cool for father figures.
It would appear so.
Pardon my tongue, darling.
Come over here, you big stud.
Alright, I have another Gex game to run. So... take care of that.